Hello, my friends. I hope winter has been treating you well. I'm coming to you after a longer break than usual, one I really needed. After a period of time that took a lot out of me, I found myself needing more space to pause, to create a bit more stillness in my life, and honestly, to let winter hold me for a while before moving forward again. This time away has helped me reset in ways I didn't expect. Not by doing more, but by slowing down enough to notice what I actually need. Lately, I've been thinking a lot about rituals. Not routines or resolutions, but small practices that feel supportive rather than demanding, and that I can return to without pressure. One of the biggest ones for me has been breakfast. I've never been very good at eating in the morning, even when I know it's important. I don't usually wake up wanting to get up and sit down to a full meal right away. And with PCOS, breakfast really does matter for my body. It helps support blood sugar, hormone balance, and overall energy throughout the day. And knowing that and doing something about it are two very different things. For a long time, mornings felt like something I needed to push through so I could move on to everything else waiting for me. But winter has softened that feeling for me. I feel less pressure to move quickly through the morning and less expectation to be immediately productive, which has made it feel like a good time to experiment with doing things differently. So, instead of forcing myself into a habit that never really stuck, I decided to meet myself where I already was. In bed, still waking up, not quite ready to fully start the day yet. This ritual specifically that I've been practicing is eating breakfast in bed. Not because it's indulgent and not just because it looks nice, but because it makes breakfast feel like something I actually want to do rather than something I have to convince myself to do. I've been intentionally romanticizing this part of my morning, which is something I talk about often, not as an aesthetic goal, but as a way of making everyday care feel more inviting. This small shift has made a bigger difference than I ever expected. By making breakfast feel warm and inviting, it stops feeling like another task on a list and starts to feel like care. For me, romanticizing my life has never been about pretending everything is perfect. It's about shaping my days in ways that genuinely support my body and my well-being. And winter feels especially suited for that. This season naturally moves at a slower pace, and that makes it easier for me to practice gentler habits, ones that don't ask for more energy than I realistically have in the morning. I might read a little, watch something that inspires me, or even put on an episode of a favorite TV show. I sit with my fur babies, stay present in the morning, and give myself time to fully wake up. This isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's about showing up consistently enough that my body starts to trust me. This is where winter keeps me at the moment, in slower mornings, thoughtful rituals, and small practices that are helping me better take care of myself as I move forward. Winter is always my planning season. It's the time of year when I'm not rushing into projects yet. I'm mostly gathering ideas, letting things take shape slowly, and thinking about how I want my home and my days to feel as the seasons change. I spend a lot of this time indoors, staying warm, usually with tea nearby. This is when Milanote fits in really naturally for me during the season. It's a visual planning tool where I can keep ideas, inspiration, and notes all in one place without feeling like everything has to be decided right away. One of the main boards I keep coming back to is what I like to call my storybook cottage revival. It's focused on curb appeal and the feeling I want the house to give the moment you see it. What I love is being able to drag and drop images, add color swatches, make to-do lists, and move things around until it starts to feel right. I can see exterior colors next to garden ideas, trim details next to little touches like shutters, or a free little library. Having everything laid out visually like this helps me slow down and make more thoughtful decisions instead of rushing into one change at a time. From there, I have other boards that support that bigger picture. Ideas for my kitchen, especially thinking ahead to spring mornings, enjoying breakfast slowly, sitting by the window, in a space that's meant for that kind of pause, with a new breakfast nook. I also use Milanote for longer-term planning, like garden ideas for the years ahead and creative inspiration too. Things I want to make more time for this year, like bookbinding. When I'm starting something new, I'll often use one of Milanote's built-in templates. They really help me get ideas out of my head and onto the board without starting at a blank page. I also love the web clipper tool. If I see something online that inspires me, I can clip it straight into my board without screenshotting or copy and pasting, which makes everything easier to organize and come back to later. And because Milanote works on my phone too, I'll add ideas as they come to me. Even if I'm curled up on the couch and something pops into my head, I can save it right then without breaking that slow, cozy rhythm. It keeps everything organized, but it still feels flexible. Nothing feels locked in. If you're also in a winter planning phase, dreaming a little more than doing, Milanote is free to try. I'll have my link in the description if you want to explore it at your own pace. A big thank you to Milanote for partnering with me on this video.
Getting in this here. Yes, we were just chatting with him now. Desperately trying to take control of his honestly talk about hurting cats. I'll stay now. You regret saying that. And while I'm here, we can discuss.
One of the intentions I've been holding on to is wanting to create more and consume less this year. And I say that loosely because you'll still find me going to the bookstores and antique stores. That's just who I am. But I have been trying to spend more time actually making things, which is why I've been in here more, at my desk. I usually put something comforting on in the background. Right now, it's probably my 12th rewatch of Downton Abbey. I light a candle, pull the blanket over my chair, and try to make the space feel cozy instead of productive. That alone has changed how often I want to sit down and stay here. A friend gave me a traveler's journal for Christmas, and even though I start a new journal every year, this one feels different. I like that everything lives in one place, but still has its own space. I have one insert for watercolor. I've been doing Renaissance border and illumination studies, which sounds very serious, but really, it's just me getting lost in patterns, color choices, and details that I love. I also have a more practical insert where I keep my schedule, to-do lists, and a few simple trackers like sleep, mood, and habits. Nothing intense, just enough to help me notice patterns without overthinking them. This one keeps me grounded. And then there's my junk journal. This is a chaotic one. I don't care what it looks like. I glue things in, ramble, vent, and dump whatever is floating around in my head. It's not meant to be pretty, and it's definitely not meant to be shared. And I don't even make a point to write in it every day. It's my no pressure journal. Watercolor has always been something I come back to when I need to slow myself down. I'm using it less to make finished pieces and more as a way to stay present, to give my hands something to do so my brain doesn't go looking for distractions. Instead of scrolling or shopping or hunting for the next thing to buy, I sit here and make something. Even if it's small, even if it's messy, even if it never leaves this journal. I'm not worried about what it turns into. The point is choosing to stay with the process instead of reaching for something. I find that it really helps with self-control. Not in a strict way, but in a way that actually supports my creativity instead of pulling me away from it. Working like this has reminded me that creating doesn't have to be productive to be worthwhile. It just has to be intentional. And the more time I spend making things this way, the more curious I've become about the physical side of it all. The paper, the structure, and the way that things are put together. That curiosity is what led me into the next ritual I've been exploring, which is bookbinding.
Stop.
Bookbinding is something I really loved doing in college. It's one of those things that clicked for me right away. I never mastered it, but I loved the process, and for the past couple of years, every time I'd see it pop up again online, it would remind me how much I missed it. I've wanted to come back to it for a while, and recently, thanks to an Amazon gift card from a really kind person, I finally had what I needed to start practicing again. What I love about bookbinding is how it pulls me into a different kind of focus. It feels more hands-on and more immersive than a lot of the other things I do creatively. I get to use my design brain, work with physical materials, and slow myself down in a way that feels really grounding. Right now, this is very much a relearning phase for me. I've been rebinding thrifted books. I take them apart and put them back together slowly, without worrying too much about the outcome. I'm letting myself make mistakes and understand the process again. This has started to feel like a ritual for me, a way of choosing to spend my time making something instead of consuming something. Even if it's imperfect, even if it's just practice, it feels good to sit down and work with my hands. I'm not aiming for perfection here. The goal is to be better over time and to enjoy the act of creating something tangible along the way.
do, Sam?
Oh, I don't know. Might be rather fun for her to reinvent herself as a great lady.
Got you this job, and you knew what I wanted in return. So don't complain about it.
Thank you, Marge. Good night.
Wide awake in a spell, smoking like a signal in a dream. Silver dollar sinking down, and dizzy lightness in between. I found you just like an open window inside a new shade of green. I could live under this open window. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Baby, your color burns through me. Colors burn through me. Wild roses, half lit in the field, speaking more than I could ever say. Cutouts in the darkness, I can see them still, climbing up the corners of your frame. Make me into a golden token, skip my stones on a creek. Every word we have quietly spoken, hanging in the air like strings. I found you just like an open window inside a new shade of green. I could live under this open window. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Baby, your color burns through me. Wide awake in a spell, a note left in the margins of a dream.
I started noticing the same pattern showing up in my kitchen that I've been noticing everywhere else. I collect things I love, journals, art supplies, cookbooks. I gather inspiration, save ideas, imagine what I might do with them someday, and then move on without always spending time with what I already have. Cookbooks were a big part of that. I've collected them for years, and I genuinely love them, but a lot of the time they end up staying on the shelf, more like an idea than something I actually use. So one of my hopes for myself has been to change that. Not in a strict way and not all at once, but by setting a small goal of actually cooking from the books I already own. It's less about what I'm making and more about choosing to follow through, opening the book, committing to the process, and letting that be enough for the day. Cooking this way feels connected to the bigger goals I've been holding on to. Creating more. Using what I already have. Spending my time in ways that feel more intentional instead of always looking for something new. There's something steady about working like this in the kitchen. The repetition, the warmth, the focus. It gives me space to be present with what I'm doing and with where I want to be headed. This isn't about changing everything overnight. It's about setting gentle goals for myself and trusting that consistency will matter more than intensity. Some days, this is how I end them, with something warm to drink, fire going, and a moment to settle back into myself. This winter has me doing a lot of this. Staying in, creating where I can, and drinking copious amounts of hot tea while I do it. I had a few moments recently that reminded me of how important it is to take care of my mental health, and meditation has become one of the ways that I'm doing that. Not in a rigid or perfect way, just giving myself space to breathe and let things pass without trying to fix them. And I'm learning that care doesn't have to look the same every day. Some days it's like this, spent by the fire with hot tea and a loaf of bread. Some days it's getting lost in a video game. Other days it's lying outside and watching the sky for a while. All of it counts. This season has been about noticing what supports me, creating more than I consume, and letting myself move forward gently one day at a time. I want to thank you so much for being here and for spending a little piece of your time with me. It's been really fun getting back into the swing of filming and creating for you, and I can't wait to see what this year brings for us. I will see you in my next video. Bye, friends.